Hey everyone, I'm your host Jared Samuels, and welcome to the 20th episode of What's Behind the Game, where you'll get an exclusive look at all your favorite athletes eat, train, and anything else you'd like to know. Today on the show, we have Ashtin Zamzow, a track athlete for the University of Texas, Hook'em, and one of the best track athletes in the country. So let's welcome Ashtin.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on. So my first question is, let's go back to the beginning. What sports did you play growing up?
I ran track and
And played what?
volleyball.
All right, and at what point did you choose track over volleyball, or were you just
Well, my parents were track runners, so I kind of knew I'd be better at running track than I would play volleyball. I'm not 6 foot tall, so that kind of, narrows down what I can do at college.
Yeah. When did you start doing like the heptathlon? And for those that aren't familiar with track, what goes into that?
So the heptathlon is 7 events in 2 days. It's 4 events the first day and 3 events the second day. And the first day includes the 100 hurdles, the high jump, shot put, and the 200. And the next day is long jump, javelin, and the 800, all consecutive. So you get 30 minutes break between each event after you complete it, and you get points for how well you do in each event. And at the end of the second day, all your points are added, and the winner the one with the most points wins. So that's what the heptathlon is.
Awesome.
And
a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And I started doing it when I was a junior in high school. I first started doing track when I was about 5 years old. So I always did it since I was little. And there's different kinds of groups. As you get older, you kind of add more events to each, group. And the first one I did was a pentathlon, which is just 5. And then I kind of developed into the heptathlon. So I did my first hep when I was a junior and just kept doing it since then and got a scholarship for it. And here I am, still doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you started out at A&M. What schools were you considering at the time, and why did you choose A&M?
I wanted to stay local. I'm from Texas, and although Arkansas and Oregon and Georgia were, always a fun school to look at and to train, and I definitely wanted to stay in Texas. So A&M and Texas were kind of like my only choices, especially since my parents were track athletes at A&M, and so that was obviously a favorite, the favorite school.
And how did you transition from high school to college? What was that like?
That was hard. It was all your time, money, hours spent was for track and for school. You are in class studying, or you're out of the track training your butt off in the heat. So you have to really love what you're doing, or it's going to drive you crazy. and I loved it, so I never got tired of it.
How often do you all spend outdoors versus indoors?
So we are limited, or we have to be in at least 12 hours of school per semester. And so that's usually 2 classes a day. And as far as like working out, it could range from 2 to 4 hours just being outside, and then not including like lifting and rehab and training inside in case, you're hurt or need to take care of yourself after practice if you're not feeling good. So it depends on the day, but yeah.
So you transferred to UT. Was it difficult making that transition from one school to another?
Oh, absolutely. I was torn to begin with out of high school. I took 2 visits, and I wanted to go to UT, but my parents were kind of, it was important for them to also be involved in the decision because I loved them so much and I didn't want to disappoint them. So I went to A&M, and I didn't like it. I thought I would, just because my parents did, and I didn't. So I transferred, and that wasn't easy for any of us. And I kind of became a big girl when I did that, and kind of just decided this was best for me. And ended up being true, and I'm a lot happier and successful, and I don't regret what I did, and I'm thankful for all the friends and coaches I've made through the process.
What role did your teammates play in like accepting you into the fold?
Well, my boyfriend at the time, or still is, was on the team, so it kind of made it easy. I was always kind of around Texas track and field team because of him, and so that was pretty easy to transition into. I already knew everybody, and it was kind of fun, getting to finally hang out with a group of people that you've always wanted to be around and to succeed around, I guess, especially in the event you love so much.
Cool. Well, we touched on a little bit, but what are some of the biggest challenges you've had to face as a student athlete?
Oh, time management.
Yeah.
Time management is by far the hardest, just because you're spending so many hours outside or rehabbing, and so many hours in school, and then you're required to go to study hall for 2 or 3 hours, and so you really have to just manage your day and break it up and realize you got to get crap done in order to be successful, especially if you want to do well in school and do well in sports too. So that was the hardest.
Do you think now is just kind of like a routine, right? So
yeah, now it's easy because I'm so used to it. This is my 5th year because I had to redshirt a year because I tore my hamstring. But I still graduated in 4 years, so it made this last year of school kind of easy for me because I just took some classes that I was interested in and focused more on track than really hammering school. So that was a lot easier. Yeah.
So bringing back to the track, out of all the events you do, which one is your favorite one?
Favorite.
Do you have one?
I think the high jump, just because it's so technical. Even though I'm better in the javelin, that one just comes so natural. I really don't have to think about it. But the high jump is just a little bit of everything. It's like you got to be good at it. You got to have some hops, but you also know you have to figure out how to control it and use it to clear bars over your head, a couple inches over your head. So it's really fun to figure that out and to be good at it. So that one I think is my favorite.
So this is kind of a broad question, but how do you train for the different events? Like, is it one event one day, one event the next day?
Well, if it was one event a day, I probably wouldn't get much done. So the reason I'm outside for so long is because I spend, I do probably 2 or 3 events a day and leave a day for kind of recovery and reset, and then get back at it the next few days. And that kind of keeps me motivated and healthy. And if you have a bad event, you can just move on to the next event that same day, and it could still be okay. Or just sometimes today's not a good day, and that's okay too. But yeah, it's 2 or 3 events a day, and I don't know. It's a lot sometimes, and sometimes it's just like, man, that was easy. Just it depends on what time of the season you're in. If it's fall season, you're kind of just killing yourself every day trying to get in shape. But spring season is when competitions begin and you start kind of freshening up and taking off the pounding and all the running, and it becomes a lot funner because you're in competition mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some example drills that you all do?
Some drills. Well, depending on the event, like for hurdles, we'll do some hurdle drills, trail leg drills, and lead leg drills, and then we'll go over 8 to 10 hurdles, kind of spaced close together, just to work on speed and getting ready for, I guess, finishing longer races. Because indoor it's only 5 hurdles, since it's 60-meter hurdles, and outdoor 10. So kind of making that transition into going over longer hurdles. And then high jump, just a lot of jumping. Same for a long jump. Shot put is just learning how to throw the ball without having it throw you, and it's just a lot of different things. Med ball stuff just for strengthening, and just to kind of get your muscles used to throwing a lot. So that helps a lot. I miss that. But anyways.
I think you said you tore your hamstring. What was it like coming back from that, especially with all the jumping and
Yeah,
stuff like
I
that?
struggle with it every day, honestly. I don't think, well, going through that was hard in itself because you train all year just to compete, and then you're kind of taken out the whole year. And so having to reset and recover and train for the next year, that's requires a lot of patience and kind of sacrifice. Um, but recovering to start competing again, it was hard because you have some scar tissue that's left after you tear a muscle. Say you tear a muscle, it's not straight anymore. It's kind of crooked. It lays down. And so they have to dig on it and break it up every day so that it just kind of straightens out. And I don't tear it again per se. So it's kind of a challenge to deal with every day. If it's tight or if it's nagging at me, I just like, okay, coach, I can't do this today. And that's been one of the biggest improvements I think that I've made for myself is taking care of my health. And I think that's kind of what's made this season so successful, is because I've been able to go out and practice and kind of know my limits, what I can do, what I can't do, and get better from there, or just work around it. And that's, I guess, what's helped so much.
Yeah, when you how often, like when you all are out of practice or whatever, how often is a coach there?
Oh,
Or how often are you doing all the
yeah,
time?
all the time. Yeah, they're always there. They have a longer day than we do, I feel like. They're there from the morning all the way to late at night because we have meetings at like 6:37, depending on what's going on sometimes. And I'm thankful for such a committed staff.
Mhm.
It's hard.
What role does like nutrition and strength training and everything you do off the track play
Oh,
into?
it's so important. Because track is such a physical kind of, I don't know how to explain this. It's all kind of based on your physical like well-being. And if you're not ready to run at 800, as fast as you can, you either need to look at the workouts you're doing or the diet you're on, or the how strong you need to be in order to throw this far. So it's definitely, it all intertwines together, because you want to be at the peak, your peak physical, I don't know, self, all the time. And so it's important to get the right nutrients, the right food, the right vitamins every day, just so that your body is kind of prepared to take on max training every day, which is so different from other events or other sports, even, just because you get like you're training at like max velocity every day. Like it's always, the results are always like immediate. Whether you're jumping at a bar, you're like, okay, I cleared 5.8 today. Like, how did I feel? I could have done better. I feel like if I wasn't feeling bad about eating this fried chicken I just had, or didn't get like, I got 5 hours of sleep last night, so I didn't recover all the way. Or it's always like trying to feel as fresh as possible so that you can compete your best. And that's kind of also a hard thing to learn about what your body best, I don't know, kind of learns and adapts to.
I bet dealing with like the stress of school, that could weigh on you, or
Yeah,
just different things.
walking around a lot, just kind of being tired from studying. It just kind of takes a mental stress and toll on that too. And sometimes you just don't even want to practice. Like, I'm so tired from taking this final. I just don't want to go outside and do a workout right now. I'm exhausted. And some of the event groups go in the weight room at like 5:36 in the morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need my sleep. I can't do that. So it's hard for a lot of reasons. But if you love it as much as I do, it kind of makes it worth it in the end.
So on a race day, when you're like preparing for a typical event, do you have like a routine you go through, or do you just kind of?
Well, I do the normal warm up, depending on what event I do. But if I'm doing a hep, then I just get ready for the hurdles like I normally do. I shake out, roll out, loosen up if anything's tight, and go over some hurdles. Usually takes me about like an hour and a half to get ready for that because it's such a technical event, and usually a lot of girls are on the track at the same time trying to go over hurdles. So you just gotta be patient. And yeah, no, that's kind of it. That's my routine. It's pretty simple.
Do you have to do anything to get your mind right, or is it just like being there?
You know, a lot of people listen to music, but I just I like to hear what's going on outside and get a feel for the weather, or just the environment, and to kind of feed off of that energy instead of something that's just you could put some earphones on and kind of not be real, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you competed at like the really big events, the Big 12 championships, which I think were pretty recently,
Yeah.
NCAA,
Mm-hmm.
Team USA. How do you handle like the really big stages? Does it feel different, or is it just like, hey, I've done this?
The environment's different, yeah. And at first you're super nervous. But I kind of got used to it after I kind of took the stress of performing well out of the equation. I just chose to just have fun and to compete against these girls and try to kick butt. And that kind of relieves all the stress and the mental just anxiety I would have normally for the events. And that's helped me a lot just to kind of be at peace with the competition, I guess, because it's, such a high class, like high level environment with the pros and stuff. And so, yeah, it's nerve wracking, and you get some nerves in the blocks before the gun goes off, but it's always exciting and never kind of I don't know, not too crazy. I did let that get to me the first few years, and I ended up not doing very well, and I'm realizing now, like, what's the point? You're there to compete and have fun, and you might as well just do it with a smile on your face. And it's been, working out for me well so far. I just am starting to enjoy it and not put any expectations on myself. And I'm kind of realizing how good I am, and it's kind of like a surprise because I knew I could be, on Team USA, competing in different countries, or getting third at nationals indoor without my best event, which is the javelin. When you only throw that outdoors, and now that I'm ranked number 1 in the nation, it's like I still kind of don't. It hasn't processed yet, and I don't want it to, because I don't want it to, make me too overconfident. And so I'm just kind of taking it one step at a time and just try to improving on each event, and to worry about getting to my best self, whatever that may be, each day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So going professional, would that be the next step?
Yeah, absolutely. And that'll be this summer. There's Nationals is next week in Austin here at home, and then there's a USA track and field championships, and that's with the pros. And about a month after that is the 27th and 28th of July. So I'll be competing there with the rest of the nation, and pros and stuff, and that'll be fun. I'm excited to see what we could do so far. I think right now I'm ranked 3rd overall for the U.S. for the women's hep outside of college. So yeah, that'd be good.
Sweet, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're like the school record holder in the heptathlon. Recently, the first female athlete in UT to win at the Big 12 in heptathlon. And I think is it Bowerman? I'll make sure I get that right.
Yeah. It's
what do those accolades mean to you? And like, you touched on a little bit, but like.
Yeah. So basically, whenever I went to nationals indoor, I was top 8, and when you're top 8, you receive this accolade called an All-American, and so that just means you are you finished top 8 at nationals, and it's such a special, I guess, name or gift only granted for those just elite athletes who can accomplish that. And that to me is like the best accolade I could ever receive, just because I've been wanting it for so long, and it's taken me 5 years to get it. And hopefully, next week I get another All-American name added to it and be 2-time All-American instead of just 1 time. But that was my most important accolade. And then I'm sorry, what's the other ones that you were oh, the Bowerman. Oh my gosh, that's like the track version of the Heisman Trophy, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's for like 5-time national champions, and so to be put on that list, I'm like, what the heck? I didn't think that good of a score, but I guess it was, because it was number 1 in the world for a long time until this past weekend. My performance, and that was just such a bizarre thing to even look back on and kind of realize, like, wow, I did do that. And that's, if I win that, I mean, that's just tops it all. It's like the best of the best. If you win the Bowerman, you're getting a contract with some of the bigger agencies, and you're looking at a pro life for a long time, a pro athlete life for a long time. So that's exciting. But there's, some really good competition out there, and I'm just thankful to even be on the list, really, to be watched. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like you said all that just gives you more confidence in yourself.
Yeah, it does. Reassurance that everything's gonna, I mean, yeah, just everything, just a blessing. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, there's a question that we ask at the end for everyone, and it's, what are your top 3 recommendations for young athletes?
Top 3 recommendations. First one would be to work hard. Never cut yourself short because you just don't want to do it, or you don't feel like it, or you're just not giving yourself the chance or even an opportunity to get better that day. So always work hard, because it got me, honestly, to where I am now. And the second thing would be to dream big. I never did this for myself. I kind of just took each opportunity as it came, and lately it's kind of been like, you're better than what you think you are. And so I want to encourage, younger athletes to dream outside the box of what they think they're capable of doing, because that's, honestly, I wish I would have done that, because I feel like I could have been a better athlete because of that. I would have given myself more opportunities and chances to be better. And the third thing would be to take care of yourself. Health is such an important part of being successful. People don't realize, like, you spend 2 hours outside training, like, well, you better spend an hour in the rehab or getting treatment, trying to make yourself 100% for the next day. And I mean, you don't realize how many athletes will suffer from injuries and just have them taken out for their season or for the rest of, their careers because of one little injury, and they have to have surgery and all this stuff. So taking care of your body and just your health is number 3.